Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Maz and Sackcast episode 4. And we
Yay.
are live.
Shaking the booty, shaking the booty.
Oh, you are making all the men go crazy.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right. So, dude, we got a great one, I think, tonight. I'm looking forward to it. We're gonna be talking about the state of professional wrestling, essentially, like the health of professional wrestling, the different organizations, some of the scandals that are currently going, which there are a handful. Some of the moving, parts of where people have been going, stuff like that. How the shows are doing. It's going to be fucking good. I'm looking forward to it. But
Yeah.
where are we going to start, Mike? Where are we going to start?
We are going to start with Stardom / New Japan. There's a lot of moving parts at the moment. The founder
Okay,
of
Stardom is the one over in Japan, the organization that's like all women, right? Or like was all women or pretty much all women.
it's all women, and then they do those like little kinky dances and stuff like that
Okay,
during the
okay.
shows. Yeah.
And Asuka and like Kyrie and those guys came from there, yeah.
Asuka, Kyrie, Tony Storm. Right now,
Oh,
Julia.
there's
Julia
a
is the
cool fucking documentary about Tony Storm like being
yeah,
over there. Like that was cool. I fucking forget which one was that.
I don't know.
I was it oh, the
It
news
was
media people.
uh Vice.
Vice. I think they did like a 3-part or 4-part thing on them, and it was fucking cool. And
Yes.
Tony Storm was a big part of it.
Yes. And then they did another one with like Austin Theory. Well, he was before WWE.
Yes,
Well,
yes. So
yeah,
that's
that's what
so that's so that's what we're talking about.
Stardom.
Okay,
So,
cool. Stardom. Okay.
so Stardom kind of has that wrestling, and then they do shows and skits like Glow did in the 80s over there.
Glow.
Glow. So the founder of Stardom, his name is Rossi Ogawa, and he ended up selling the company to the basically New Japan Pro Wrestling, which we all know, and it kind of combined. He sold it for 10 million, probably yen, and there's a parent company that owns New Japan now, and Rossi was working there, and they have figured out he was kind of like a mole in getting other people to other places, so they got rid of him. It's like
Waiting,
a
wait,
kind
wait,
of
wait, 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 wait. They. What do you mean getting people to other places?
so basically from the research I've done, he got Kyrie back to WWE, or he was on his way out, and all these people
Help,
wanted to work with
helped broker
Rossi.
the deal. So
Correct.
he became an agent. Basically, he became an independent booking agent for these people.
Kind of, yes. And since they are
Okay,
not
okay.
there, since he is not going to be there anymore, their big star Julia is reportedly going to be headed to WWE.
Oh, of
They had a
course.
they had a show last night, and her hair got cut in the ring. So I would presume that that is kind of
Oh, that's some
yes,
shame right there.
yeah,
Oh,
not
damn,
bald,
dude.
but
They
she had like
shamed her like that?
yeah, she had like
Yeah,
a
but I'm
big
assuming it was in Japan, right? So,
yes. It was in Japan. Yes,
yeah, I mean that's kind of a thing. I mean, that's symbolic of or like legit, who fucking knows? You never know, in especially in organizations like that don't have everything televised. You have no idea how much of it is like shoot, like it's very interesting, very interesting.
and typically when you're on your way out of a company, you're there to put someone else over, and
Uh-huh.
lo and behold, losing your hair would be doing that. So the rumor
Oh, hell yeah. What's the rumors? What's the rumors?
that Julia will be headed to NXT.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, people are still getting made down there. You know, like I think there's a couple other names we're gonna get to tonight, so I'm not gonna. But people are still getting made down there. I guess I didn't realize it once the network kind of kaputted. You know, because honestly, when it was on the network, I would watch NXT every week because like it was part of why you go to the network. NXT, you watch it, and it was great entertainment. And then when they moved, just NXT became the first thing that fell off for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was really into it as a whole before the network even started. When you had Paige and Charlotte and Summer Rae were down there, it would come live every Thursday, and it was great.
Wait.
Then you had
Hold on. That was before the network.
Yeah, that was before the network. It was
Oh,
only on
no
overseas.
shit.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, hold on. Now I got my ears all messed up. So like the Paige and Charlotte and like Becky and Bailey run
That was the
wasn't
network.
that was the
That was
network. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Summer Rae was kind of before the network.
Okay.
So anyways, Rossi he got fired.
Okay, yeah, back
And
to that.
yeah.
That was such a good run. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. I
It's
got lost
okay.
in
No,
fucking
we'll get
nostalgia, dude. But
we'll get back to NXT a little bit later. That's fine.
okay, go on, sir. Go on.
Okay, so Rossi got fired. They've taken over. Julia is headed reportedly to WWE. She may stay over there a little bit longer, so Rossi can start up another federation, and Julia can put that on the map a little bit before she leaves. There was a thing with Hiroshi Tanahashi is now the president of New Japan Pro Wrestling, so he is the lead booker, I would presume. And last weekend, Okada and Will Ospreay said goodbye to New Japan. I don't know if you saw Okada bend down and kiss the logo.
I did actually, and I'm really excited about that. I don't know if his best years are behind him completely, but probably. So I'm not gonna set my bar like super high. He's probably gonna make quite a bit of fucking money though, because he's a draw, like for sure. And yeah, I mean, he's another face I wouldn't mind seeing in NXT, but to be honest, I would like to see him like go worthy of his name and go right to the main roster. I just don't know if they can do that shit with the current audience.
Well,
like I don't know.
I'll go into this now. The rumor for
Okay.
Okada is he will be debuting at AEW Big Business with Mercedes Moné in Boston on March 14th.
So Jericho. So I mean Jericho had to have gotten to him, or they're gonna pay him way excuse me, a lot more.
Well, it could be maybe WWE wanted him to go to NXT to learn more of an American style, get some English, so he could cut promos because that's more of a promo-based product. And he's already friends with the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, so he probably has a familiarity with the AEW roster, and Tony Khan would be throwing the money at him, and he would go there.
Okay, but what? Okay, so let's just. I want to unravel this just a little bit before we get back on track. Who does he wrestle? Who does he wrestle in AEW right now?
I think you hit the nail on the head right there. Jericho would be the hottest thing at the moment. So
he's the only. I bit my tongue. I'm sorry. I won't say that. We can get back on track now because I'll get there.
Well, Will Ospreay also finished up with New Japan, and he will be heading to AEW shortly.
Now that one makes more sense. Like I get that. Like I don't think there's any demand for him to go to. Sorry, God damn it! See, I'm being mean. I'm being the mean guy. Like I don't want to do that. My bad.
It's completely fair assessment. With Okada, who probably is definitely the biggest free agent in wrestling at the moment, the best wrestler in the world for probably the last 3 to 4 years, because Roman's not active. Punk wasn't active. He would add credibility and star power to AEW.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
and they clearly are really lacking that with all the injuries. Did you see the latest injury? I believe I sent it to Sammy Guevara. He did his little moonsault right onto Jeff Hardy's face and hit the knee right to the face on Rampage this week.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
That's not protected. That's like Ryback level.
Yeah. And it's Sammy Guevara who has turned babyface and heel more times than the Big Show recently. So
oh my God, dude. Talk about nostalgia. Like once it became a joke, and Big Show, like to his credit, Big Show, by the way, Big Show would be like probably somewhere in my top 15. Like realistically, just because of the longevity of his career and what I was alluding to, which is that his sense of like comedic ability when it came to working a crowd as a big dude, like was so fantastic. Like so like and once he realized that it kind of became part of the work, that he was such a flippy flopper from babyface to heel, and he just started playing it like it was, dude, he was so fucking funny. He was so fucking funny. And that was at the end of his career when physically he couldn't perform the way he did at one point. Cause like, man, when you look back at his time with WCW, when he kind of got buried, which I know he's released something on that recently, but he was a quick big man and fucking strong and still pretty funny. And like, I don't know. I love Big Show. I don't know where that came from. I apologize. I don't know why we were talking about Big Show to begin with. Fucking, I think you just said the name Big Show. And I'm like, I love Big Show. So we're going to go back to you now.
Oh, well, thank you. So
you're not even going to tell me how the fuck I got onto Big Show? You're just gonna breeze right past it?
No, I got onto Big Show because I said Sammy Guevara has switched babyface to heel more times than the Big Show.
There you go. And I just wanted to show appreciation for the fact that Big Show did that. I don't know about this guy, if it's working or not. Probably not, but and guys that can't figure it out, if there's one thing I do think I understand about the business, if you can't figure that part out, you're not going to go anywhere. Like you have to be able to figure that part out, because psychology is a much bigger part of it than people ever give it credit for. Like, period.
And I think
Now,
we can actually go into that psychology now, because AEW currently, their big issue that many people are having with it is they just go out there and try to have matches. There's no psychology, there's no storylines. If there is a storyline, you need to watch every single show of every TV that they offer. And everything kind of gets intertwined there. You have to watch the YouTube show to see what put that over. But
so you have to be a hardcore fan. Like, they're breeding hardcore fans, right? Like,
yeah,
that's what it is, isn't it?
they are. That is their mantra. And I can tell you right now, I have the ratings in front of me from the last 6 weeks. Their hardcore fan base, it's not very hard to figure out. So their main show, Dynamite, last week, as of Wednesday, the main, I'm not going to go into the demo because we don't care about commercialism, but just viewers,
That away.
they get handed roughly 1.2 million every week as a lead in from the Big Bang Theory. And it steadily drops throughout the night, whether it be the Young Bucks pop on TV or just a crummy female match that they have. But you go from 1.2 million with the Big Bang, and this week they had 811,000 viewers as an average for throughout the 2-hour show.
Oh, wow.
So that's a pretty dramatic drop off.
It okay, yeah, it is. I hear what you're saying, but it's still relative retention. What's the lead? I don't know why I'm playing devil's advocate here at all, but I'd like to see what the lead in is and what the average is. Like, is Big Bang holding that 1.2 for their entire episode? Are those people there to watch Big Bang, or are they coming in at the end to catch the beginning of the show and then they just drop off?
No, it's pretty steady throughout for Big Bang.
Yeah.
The numbers that are discussed, they're always right around 1.2 to 1 million for each episode. So then you're dropping, and I mean that 811, that 811 goes down to 680 for a bad segment throughout the 2 hours. So
does it? Okay.
Yeah, because you're taking the cumulative average. You have your 1 million, and then it's steadily dropping to that average of 811.
Okay, got it.
So
by the end of the show, some shows they're less than half. They're not even retaining half the audience that they're starting with.
About 60%, 60 to 65%. So yeah, I mean, typically, if the Young Bucks come on TV, you're losing about 200,000 in that quarter hour, which is crazy.
Okay, so and here's where I want to make a fucking statement, like, real fast. The point of talking about wrestling for me and continuing to talk about wrestling is to prove a point. I'm not a fucking booger eater that lives in my mom's basement. Like, I'm a dude with 4 kids who fucking runs his own businesses. Like, and I'm doing this like with a friend because this is something I want to do with my time. I'm not judging because I'm not in the business. I don't do it. I could never do it. I never really wanted to do it, but I've always loved watching it, and I understand it to a degree that I consider myself modest about. But what I will say is, over the years, I've watched Vince do it. When that shit happens to people, they stop being on TV.
Yes.
They wouldn't be on TV anymore. So it's not about like calling them out by name or fucking like I don't care about any of that shit. I don't know them. I'm never gonna know them. They're just people doing their job. But from a management perspective and what you want to build for your brand, how can you keep putting them on TV when the ratings drop that significantly?
So somebody is either not getting the memo, they don't care because they're friends with them. I don't know. And there's a report that came out this week that morale is not very, very high there, and people are going to
Why would it
begin to.
be? Why would it be when they're getting the fucking spots and you're working there and you're going, look, give me a fucking chance at that spot, because it is still supposed to be a goddamn business, people. Like, and I don't mean that in the sense of like being traded on the stock market. I mean behind the scenes, it's business. And if you're not there doing business and you're not working for the business of said business, then what the fuck are you doing? And if you're being protected, then fuck you, because I'm not being protected and I'm here to do business. What are we doing?
I think that is probably the greatest analogy, without saying a name of a person, that you are there to make money. You're not there to be friends with anybody. You're there to make money.
100%. 100%. And you're also there as a group to make money, to be more successful, to grow your group, so that the individuals are there to stand out as individuals, and they do. And when they do, it's fucking fantastic. We fucking love it, and we give them more of our money. But the best in the business have always elevated people with them. They've always brought up the business. That's why they're the most respected. It's never about them. That's why certain people joined and it booted me. What the fuck? Okay.
You're here.
Oh, that was weird. Anyway, that's why when certain people come back that didn't put in the time for the business and went out and put in time for themselves, they don't get the respect they feel they deserve in the locker room. And why other people that go off and make something of themselves, that put themselves or put the business up the whole time they were there, tend to be more respected even now that they're gone. I'm just saying.
So the wild thing is for months we heard about how toxic Punk was there while he was there. And then you hear stories of him buying gift cards for the locker room and this and that. So I really think that it's going to come out here shortly who the problem is with that product. I have the.
I think it's coming out right now. Like, in all honesty, I know we're not going to make a ripple, dude. I know we're not in a position to make a ripple, but to be like honest, like fans got to speak out and things got to happen, and business is business. But I think the numbers, like, more people just got to be honest. Like,
right.
It's happening right now. Like, it's coming out, and you're right. Punk, like, we didn't even touch on that yet, but I mean, that says it all. That absolutely says it all. Like, WWE, like Hunter and everybody else took him back with more than open arms, and
push him right in the main event.
Everybody fucking loves him. Everybody's happy he's back. He's a fucking leader. Oh yeah, he was toxic and shitty. We didn't want him.
And cool. he had their every episode view over 1 million.
Of course, because he's fucking CM Punk. And not to mention, and I think this is underplayed, and I want to say this, like, his time in the UFC will never be valued for much, but I guarantee you, to him, He did what he wanted to do. He challenged himself. He pushed himself in so many fucking ways. He went out and embarrassed himself and got the shit kicked out of him. And if you've never had the shit kicked out of you, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But I have. And I'm telling you, he did it in front of millions of fucking people more than once. Like, he's grown as a human being, period. Right. So you can't tell me that he's fucked up in that locker room. Can't. I wouldn't believe it if you told me. And then you have proof to the other side. What am I going to believe?
Right. And that's a major problem is you have certain members of the wrestling media that call themselves journalists that hear one side of the story and keep publishing it. So people that are at home in mom's basement read that, and that's all they believe.
And how do you believe that dude isn't paid?
The proof is in the pudding. So the last couple weeks since The Rock is back, you have Dave Meltzer taking shots at The Rock saying, well, he's a star, but he's no Taylor Swift right now. Like, what is that?
Okay,
how are you comparing apples to oranges?
Hold on. Here's what I'm gonna say about that. Actually, I think that if you're intelligent at all, if you know anything about how smear works and things like that, this is actually a huge compliment to The Rock, because he couldn't make that comparison to anyone in the realm of a star other than the person who globally right now is the number one entertainer in on the globe. That's the only person you can compare The Rock to and have him not demolish. He is a global superstar. Everywhere on the planet, they know Dwayne The Rock Johnson, period. Like, you can't. Oh, it's the only person you can compare him to. It's a huge compliment. Oh, he's not Taylor Swift. Oh, okay.
It's just wild. So the 811 last week we had 805 for an overall number, and the last month you've had 838. So you've dropped your audience by 25 to 35,000 over 1 month. And you're going into a pay-per-view with well, we'll discuss that pay-per-view now. You're going into the pay-per-view with the final match of Sting. So that's your big angle right now.
Wait. Say that again. Just the water I was drinking, I think, hurt my ears, and I don't think I understood that correctly.
Okay, so you have a pay-per-view here next month. Actually, 2 weeks from now. The main event is the last match of Sting.
Okay.
He's retiring. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So
how old is he? How old is he now?
I believe he's 65. Okay. This is their star right now.
I love you, Stinger.
Everyone else is hurt. So how did we get to Sting in the main event? So Sting and Darby Allin are a tag team. They had a tag team title match with Colin Cassidy, a.k.a. Big Bill, who is the champion, and Ricky Starks. They beat Ricky Starks and Big Bill for the titles. So Sting is going into his last match as World Tag Team Champion. And after that match, they were celebrating. They were dropping confetti in the ring. And what happens? The Young Bucks come in, dressed in all white suits, and attack them from behind. So this is their hot angle. Sting and Darby bled, so the white suits got color on them. And they are still wearing the white suits 3 weeks later. But in a place in a place of business, their new gimmick since they came back is they are the EVPs, and then they openly assault the tag team champions to get a tag team championship match in a guy's last match, so you know that they're leading into getting their belts back.
Genius. I mean, how could you book it any better?
Let me count the ways here. So I'm just saying that could be a reason why the ratings have fallen off. I said, the last month you were at 838, and now you're down into 805 to 811. So you've lost 25,000 people of your audience, and that's your main show. That's your main program. So now, do you want to hear about the Friday show?
Yeah.
Rampage.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so Rampage was up this week to 456,000 viewers.
Okay.
Last week they had 314,000, and the last month they've been at 370,000.
Okay.
So
what changed?
I don't know what changed. Daniel Bryan was in the main event last week against Yuji Nagata. Yes,
Okay.
Yuji Nagata from WCW in 1995. So that was a dream match. Why are you laughing?
Okay. Well, I mean, dude, we were just talking about how, WrestleMania 30, in my opinion, was like, it was great. Like, I'll never shit on it, but, it should have been like CM Punk's spot. Like, and Daniel Bryan filled in great after Punk left, and it's all great. Like, I will never shit on it, because Daniel Bryan deserved the respect, and he was a great performer. He wasn't young then.
Yeah, he's
like even him. Yeah. And he should have retired, if I remember correctly. I mean, the dude had a pretty serious neck issue.
Yeah, he
so
did. He did retire, but
he did.
He came back to AEW. So
he came back like Edge came back, didn't he? Like, didn't he come back kind of like, because I know like Edge came back kind of the whole like, oh, they told me I'd never do this again, but I can. And it was kind of the same thing with Daniel Bryan, I think, if I remember correctly.
It was. So,
but WWE didn't want to hang on to him very long.
Right. Well, they gave him the title. He had the hemp belt there for a little bit. He did all that, and then he was gone, went to AEW. He's constantly been hurt, unfortunately, so it's really ruined his run. But when he wrestles, apparently it's special, because you had another 130,000 people watch your show for a Friday night. Yeah. So that's good.
It is.
Yeah, then we have a Saturday show called Collision. Last week they did 491,000 views. The week before that they did 404, and for the last month the average has been 386,000.
So very similar to the Friday show.
Very similar to the Friday show, but this was the CM Punk show, because he couldn't be on the same show as the Young Bucks were, if you remember. So they pushed him and FTR over to the Saturday night show, and that was doing 600,000 to 800,000 views a week, and now we're 400,000 a week.
Okay, but the Friday night show went up a little bit after CM Punk left.
So. It's everything's kind of sadly dwindling. Since I'm just saying, like, since Punk left at All In, the houses are 2,000 to 4,000 people every show, and they're still running NBA arenas. I'll tell you this big business show that they hyped up for the debut of Sasha is going to be where the Celtics and Bruins play.
Okay.
It holds 19,950 people for a sellout.
Okay.
They
Okay.
have, as of yesterday, on WrestleTix on Twitter, they have the building set up for 6/8/31. So that's like roughly 33% of the building, and they've sold 6,000 tickets, and it's being pushed as the debut of Sasha / Mercedes Monet and probably Okada. So, what does that say about the star power in AEW?
I hope that they can get. I'm going to say this. This is where I'll leave it with that, with the commentary on their health. I hope that they find a way to book and produce TV like a little bit better, and they take control over the locker room and the booking. Because if they do that, like, I mean, from a percentage standpoint, maybe they're happy with the outcomes that they have against WWE. I don't know. I don't know from a business standpoint, but if the product is soiled the way I feel it looks like it is on paper, then you need to clean up or you're gonna fall too far behind. Because once you lose too much, you're not gonna stay alive. Like that just doesn't work. And I
Yeah,
always want to see at least two major companies,
right.
like you want to see that. But it doesn't quite feel like they're on TNA ground, but they have a much bigger budget than I think TNA had. So,
So they have a roster of roughly 200 to 250 wrestlers, and you're seeing the same 6 to 8 every week on every show.
yeah.
Um, I mean, I guess you would say right now your big stars are Moxley, Daniel Bryan, Brian Danielson, Sting, but Sting's gone. The Hardy brothers are there, but what are they at this point? Here, I'll go over this card. This is the pay per view that's coming up next week. So
Yeah,
tell
let's hear
me,
it. I want to hear the whole card.
I'm gonna give you the whole card, and then you tell me how fast you're gonna put your credit card out there to get $50 for this pay.
Hey, fucking sell this thing, Maz.
Um,
Fucking sell it. Let's go.
Sack, just open up your your wallet like your vagina. Uh, so the main event is Sting and Darby Allin versus the Young Bucks, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson. Orange Cassidy is defending the AEW International Championship versus Roderick Strong. Samoa Joe, the champion
Mm.
of AEW, is in a three-way with Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland with Prince Nana. Timeless Tony Storm is defending her AEW Women's World Championship against Deonna Purrazzo.
Who?
Eddie Kingston, Deonna Purrazzo, she was in NXT a little bit. She just was in Impact. I think she dropped her
Okay.
title to
Okay.
Jordan Grace, and
Okay.
she is now the number one contender. Eddie Kingston will be defending the Continental Crown Championship, which is the AEW Continental Championship, the ROH World Championship, and the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship versus Brian Danielson. If Danielson loses, he has to shake Eddie Kingston's hand. And Will Ospreay will be wrestling Kosuke Takeshita. That is the card.
Hmm.
So I'm guessing you're not buying that one,
No, no. That's really disappointing, man.
isn't it?
Yeah, it
So
really is.
so remember the last day that Punk was there, they had the big Wembley show because on the way
Hmm.
out to the ring, he got into the fight with Jungle Jack Perry or Jungle Boy Jack Perry, and
Okay.
Tony Khan feared for his life, and they sold what the gimmick number was 85,000 tickets or whatever for that show. Well, they're coming back uh, August 25th to Wembley Stadium again for All In this year. The setup right now is for 49,277, and they've sold 39,190.
Hmm.
So just what's that? 6 months. That was September.
Yeah.
6 months. You're back and you're doing a half building,
Hmm.
and you're not sold out yet. So I
Yeah.
guess that would I would give that probably the state of AEW right now.
Okay. And I'm gonna follow that with a question. I'm gonna ask you a question. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this is in fairness to AEW as a talent pool. Okay. When they first bet the house on what they're doing, they had Cody Rhodes and um, Brandy, right?
Mm-hmm.
They had them as figureheads, right? And Jericho was definitely past his prime, but he had a pretty good run in Japan, I guess. Like he had some good matches, whatever. He did some cool stuff, the edgy stuff, you know. Um, and the Bucks weren't reviled the way that they are now. Like, you know, and you do some good stuff and you really look like you're gonna fucking do it. And I think they steered into the concept of being like the new NWO, like a little too much, in my opinion. Like the okay, I got off track a little bit. Here's what I'm gonna say. So Cody Rhodes is gone. And Cody Rhodes is at the top of the fucking mountain right now. Oh, dude, he's in everything. He's the guy. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And CM Punk, who was your draw for a while, is now gone. And he's hurt or he's not, whatever. But he was one of the last four in the Royal Rumble and potentially a guy that could win it. Okay. So he took his spot back right away. Name one guy, and we'll leave the ladies out of it right now because that's a whole other conversation. Name one guy on that roster right now that could leave and come be on the main event, in the main event, one of the 5 main events of WrestleMania, and have it
Nobody.
be legit.
Samoa Joe, maybe.
No, not even fucking close.
I mean, that
I
would
th-
be their closest.
I think Samoa Joe could fucking come and headline an NXT pay-per-view as like a return and he would get a huge pop, but that would probably be like the extent of it. I don't think anybody would take it seriously. But and again, that's at NXT level for me. Like I there's just so I get it. Like they have to figure some guys out. They've got to build some guys up. But you got to give people chances. Got to give people chances.
The company's been around for 4 years, and they really haven't built anyone up.
Yeah.
Swerve is probably the biggest build that they've done. But it seems like anytime anyone gets up here, you have a
Mhm.
Jericho that they get into a program with, and it just drops them
Yep.
right back down. Uh,
Yep.
they had Wardlow with MJF. MJF could be that guy if he would go be a main eventer in but he's hurt right now, I believe. But
I just don't know how
that
much he could get away with.
I think that is the problem right there that puts the whole AEW cusp into perspective. Is you've had 4 years and you haven't built anyone.
Yeah.
They haven't done anything. It just seems like they're after star ratings in their matches and they're not building talent.
Well, and when their star ratings are given at with an envelope full of I mean, whatever, I don't know, I'm not making allegations, I'm not going to make allegations, I stopped myself before I made any allegations. I'm just saying, if they're tainted, they're tainted. And if you're going to get a high star match, if you put these fucking 5 people in and they do these fucking 10 moves, I'm going to say 10. Then, yeah. I mean, who gives a shit, right? Like,
so that's your big problem there. And hopefully that changes so that we do have somebody that can compete with that WWE level. And there would be another place for the boys to go and work.
and that's okay. So thank you for saying that, because honestly, that to me is important. Like it legitimately is, because right now, I mean, with the Netflix deal, and now they're going to take, go back to USA with SmackDown or Universal or whatever. Which was always higher ratings. Fox has been great, but they pulled better on cable, and it'll be their deals and the shows that they're doing and the talent that they have, everything they have right now is separating them, in my opinion, more than they've ever been separated before. Like, I feel like competing with WWE is more out of reach now than it's ever fucking been.
Yeah.
But you need places for the boys that can't, or aren't getting the chance or need the exposure or whatever. You need to give them options to make money they can live on, like, so that they can do it.
It's not only about that. It's also, we've seen Sheamus in WWE for the last 15 years. He needs to go somewhere else where he can try a new character. He can do something, because how can you miss me if you don't go away?
Too, man. Yeah.
He what?
Yeah, and he could help a company. He could help somebody. He could.
That's why it can't be all one company. It needs to be. You've seen Dolph Ziggler. He's been in WWE for the last 20 years. Now he's exploring the indies. He was just debuted in New Japan last week. So it's
I'll be honest with you.
Yourself.
I really wish that New Japan could get a TV deal in the States that was like a credible TV deal where they would get some push, and that they could put a weekly show on somewhere that had, not on a streaming thing somewhere buried for people, but like on an actual channel you can get on YouTube TV and stuff like that, where you can, save it or whatever. So you can just get the eyeballs, because it would just, like, because they have a different product, but it's a good product. It's not subpar. And the American products that other than WWE, and maybe this is because the WWE system has gotten so large. We only think of it in terms of NXT or like what, but they have a lot of like foundations and schools and things. They don't, people don't just show up on the doorstep of in Orlando and say, I'm going to be a star. Like, I'm sure some people do, but I'm just saying, like, they've been schooled somewhere else, or they've learned, there's more out there. They have to work.
Right. And that's what
But maybe the WWE system has gotten so large that they have so many talents like under their umbrella that there really isn't the depth, there really isn't the ability for these places to have talent. I mean, I don't know.
and that's where maybe Vince screwed wrestling because he killed all the territories in the 80s. You could go to Dallas, you could go to Mid South, you could go to Florida and hone your craft. Now
Yeah.
you're going to go to New Japan, or you're going to go to GCW, or that's
Yeah,
that.
but that was fucking 50 years ago, you know. Like at this
Right.
point, I mean, businesses have taken shots at them, right? I mean, we lived through a very famous era when somebody got close, but that's the only time that's the it. I mean, TNA had a shot. They had a window where they were like, okay, we might compete, and they couldn't do it. They couldn't hold it. They couldn't keep it up. AEW had a shot to at least like become credible, but it's just there's just I don't mean to make the comparison, but the same thing has happened with the UFC too. I mean, there were companies that were close. There were companies that were competing, and
Bellator.
nobody. Bellator is one of them for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, Pride was there before, you know,
Yeah.
and that's a whole other talk. We can definitely do that one sometime. But my point is I think we agree, and I think we can move on from this point. There needs to be other places where guys can work, make money for the company, and do business. That there has to be. So
I think that's a great point to make. So we will now transition to that conglomerate, the
yeah,
WWE.
yeah, that was the
So
worst transition ever, man. I'm sorry.
it's I liked it. So WWE and these ratings that I showed you before, told you about AEW, these were all compiled by Brandon Thurston over at WrestleNomics. I want to give him credit where it's due. So
Credit.
we're gonna go into NXT because that's kind of a great way to start and measure how AEW is. NXT this week drew 650,000. I didn't even know. I mean, it's still there.
You
It
really
are.
you really buried the lead, man.
I mean, there's some talent down there, but it that's all revitalized talent. Like it's all new. It's not like when Finn and Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe and Sammy and
Right.
Neville, they were all there. This is all their talent. So 650,000. They're what, Tuesday night on USA. Last week they did 648 and 674. So you're putting that in between the main flagship AEW show and the other two, which is killing. And another thing I want to bring up about the Saturday Collision show is last week was the first week that they beat Big Little Brawlers on Discovery. They have a midget wrestling show on there.
Really?
Yes, and that Big Little Brawlers had beaten Collision the last 5 weeks.
Oh my god, dude. But that's fantastic. That's good for them, man. Good for
Right,
them.
right, and
Fuck.
Discovery Channel, you know.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
we'll transition over to Raw now. Uh,
Okay.
Raw last week did 1.747 million people.
Now, is that
The
for the whole 3 hours? Is that the average
that
for the three
that's the
hours?
average, yes, for the 3 hours, which is mind blowing for 3 hours.
Yeah. No shit.
Because I can't sit through 20 minutes of it. 1.889 million people last week. and the prior month was 1.726. So people are still really into WWE. This is where the
Yeah.
numbers go crazy here. So you have your main star Roman. He doesn't do Raw. He's on SmackDown. They did 2.578 million people last week, up from 2.469 million, and their monthly average is 2.434 million. So you're
Holy
on that
shit.
you're on that road to WrestleMania. It's also not on cable; it's on Fox.
Yeah.
So you have
yeah.
that working for you. But it's also the road to WrestleMania. They've been having Roman and The Rock on there.
The Rock. Yeah, The Rock was on Friday, I saw.
Yeah, so they're
I loved the shirt he was wearing. Don't know if you saw the promo, but
the shirt was from what 1999 when he was
yeah, somewhere in there.
yeah. But that's
Is that
just
the
the
shirt
state.
he was wearing when he came out with the Nation of Domination the first time?
I don't think it was that because it was somebody said it was a vest from 1999. So he was in the
Okay.
Nation in 98.
Okay. All right. Well, still, it was interesting to see. I mean, if he didn't see it coming, he has to go full. He has to go
Yeah,
full heel.
right. So
Okay, I'm
that's
sorry. I
no,
interrupted
go
again.
ahead. Go ahead. You can talk about that promo if you want.
Well, I mean, it's again, it's what you expect, and that's okay. It should be what you expect. Like when he comes back, and I think he overdid the baby face. I think this was probably the plan the whole time, which is good. I or maybe I underestimate all of them, and they said we're gonna go out for the first promo. I'm gonna go out and we're gonna see what the crowd wants and how they feel about it. I'm gonna take over the spot from Cody, and we're gonna go with whatever the crowd reacts to, whichever the way the crowd goes. That's the way we're gonna fucking steer, so that you have a crowd driven WrestleMania. Maybe, I doubt it, but they like to be in control of where the crowd goes, not let the crowd control where they go. But I don't know how much of that went away with VKM.
Well, that'll lead us into this next whole ensemble. So that you bring up a point, them being more fan friendly with how they're doing stuff could be to shy away from that whole Vince thing and get the people talking about, babyface the people.
Yeah, get them to talk about the new product and how they feel about the WWE now. Get them to shy away from the old eras, and the easiest way to do that is to make them feel like they're part of the product again. And I mean, there was a big section, and I think it was mostly John Cena's like really childish reign, where fans got really frustrated because it felt like older fans got frustrated because it felt like the children were driving the ratings and the money, which drove the product in a really bastardized way, because people didn't like babyface Cena for the fifth year in a row at the top of the show. People wanted something different, but they just refused to listen. And
And
the only
you
good
got Super
excuse,
Cena.
yeah, but the only good excuse I ever heard was that he did so much work for Make a Wish that like that would be damaged if he turned heel. So like I get it, but I don't know. I feel like it's just one of those things where the crowd just kind of got the finger, and there was a section of time in there where it really felt like WWE gave up on including the crowd on decisions. And the best way to make people forget about that time is to at least make some people who look that deeply into the product and think about it as much as my dumbass say, hey, maybe we're making a difference. Maybe they're finally like, maybe they're being creative by letting the product be alive a little bit. And I hope that's what's happening. I truly do, because they have a lot of people that can push that really far. They have a lot of talent out there that if the scripts start like being more audience based or character based but more freewheeling so that people's personalities can come out, we might have a much improved product. I think we will.
And it would also be improved with the fan interaction, the sales
Yeah.
of seats, the sales of merch. It all plays a big hole. And maybe you get back to the Monday Night Raws where it's people in the stands with signs caring about the product again, rather than just sitting there and, okay, this is happening, whatever.
And yeah, and that's what you hope for, right? That's what you want.
Right. And I mean, you look at us, we're two 40-year-old guys that are watching wrestling, like children again, because, the product is changing, it is evolving, and, we're being entertained, which always isn't the case. You want that interaction, you want to feel like you're a part of a movement, and you want to feel like a kid again. That's
Hell
why you
yeah.
watch the product.
Hell yeah. Bring out that inner child a little bit, and let it get like, so like, and I've always said this about being from that era where we found out fairly young when it became like public knowledge that, how scripted it was or whatever, and what the product is, right? And the reason it never bothered me was because it had an element to it that did bring out that inner child a little bit. And then we went through the years of the Monday Night Wars where the product kind of grew with the fans and did the angry teenager phase, which kind of the whole 2000 era was for everybody. And
Yeah.
when they tried to capture the kids again, it felt like they forgot about the adults.
Correct.
And
I agree.
and yeah,
It,
I don't
so
feel
now,
like they're trying to insult our intelligence as much anymore. Can I say
no,
that? Like,
I agree. I also feel like you can go, if you're our age bracket, you can go to Disney World and feel like a kid for the low price of $2,000 for a 3-day visit or whatever. I don't know what it is. Or you can go to a wrestling show where they're actually paying attention to what you want to see for $100. And in this economy, I think it's cheaper to go to the wrestling show versus the Disney trip with the family.
in this economy.
Do we have an economy anymore? I don't know, but that's another topic for another day for sure. But
All right.
you,
So
you,
where are we? Where are we?
we're on the road to WrestleMania, bud. Are
Yeah, we
you are
are.
you are you buckled in? So next week
You know what? I am. I wanted to say, I wanted to respond to that. I absolutely am buckled in. I'm on board, man. Like I'm ready to go. I'm ready to see where, they take us a little bit. And I'm actually ready to be pumped for WrestleMania for the first time in like a couple of years. I'd say like the last couple I've just since COVID I've just watched because it's like a ritual. I haven't watched because I wanted to. But this year I'm actually looking forward to watching because I want to.
it's also a trog to get through 2 nights of WrestleMania where
Yeah, it
you're
is.
it truly is. But this year it feels different. It's exciting.
I think the nights are going to have a very distinct feel to them. Like each night, I think each night is going to feel a little bit different, and I dig it a little bit more this year than I have in the past couple of years with the two nights.
Yeah. So next week we have the Elimination Chamber, live from Perth, Australia. So it's at like 4:30 a.m. Eastern.
Mm-hmm.
The matches you have: tag team match for the undisputed tag team championship. The Judgment Day, Finn Balor and Damian Priest versus New Catch Republic,
Mm-hmm.
Pete Dunne and Taylor Bate.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's a little shaky.
Yeah. So we have the Elimination Chamber for the Women's World Championship match at WrestleMania. You have Becky Lynch versus Bianca versus Liv Morgan versus Tiffany Stratton versus Naomi. And I guess this week they're going to do a battle royal for all the people that lost the qualifying matches. I believe Jade Cargill was pulled, so she's not in the running. I guess that they don't deem
Okay,
her
so
ready.
they have to give us somebody else, so they're going to do it that way.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
I don't know.
That makes sense.
You have a singles match. Nia Jax going up against the hometown girl, Mommy Rhea Ripley, for the women's title.
Ooh. Well, that's interesting. So they're So why are they having Rhea? Oh, never mind.
Australia.
Holy shit! I'm an idiot. Yeah. Okay. So that's gonna be like a house show exhibition match, right?
Yeah, she's clearly going to win, get the hometown nod,
Yeah.
leave everybody,
But
home.
she's gotta do some shit. That's some to not no pun intended. That's some heavy work.
And she very well could get hurt doing it, but it'll
I
make her look like a
know.
million. It'll make her look like $1 million because she beat the Beast.
Yeah.
And then the last match that we have on here is the Elimination Chamber for the shot at Seth, I guess. Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton versus Bobby Lashley versus LA Knight versus Kevin Owens versus Logan Paul.
Okay, give me those names one more time, please.
Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, Bobby Lashley, LA Knight, Kevin Owens, Logan Paul.
Okay.
What do we have going on there? I would presume Drew.
I just, yeah, me too. That's what I was. That's why I asked you again, because I wanted to make sure I heard what I heard, so I could put together kind of what I thought would happen. And yeah, Drew seems like the logic. I didn't want to predict any of the other ones because I didn't think we were doing predictions, but that match feels like it has Drew written all over it, which, to be fair, I'm completely okay with it. I mean, I'm very okay with that. I hope that's what that is.
Yeah, because Drew is, he's calling out Punk now. LA Knight would be the other option, I would think, but they kind of turned Seth babyface a little bit, because he's with Cody.
Seth is Seth.
Yeah.
I don't think Seth can be a heel anymore. That makes sense. Like, he can be dirty, he can be like a trickster or a troublemaker, but he can't be like a full-on angry, hateful heel. He's too Seth Rollins at this point. Like, he's just beyond that. Like,
and I don't know. In the music, the that but
Fucking love
there's
them.
no Shinsuke. Um,
Mhm.
there's a lot of people that really aren't involved. Um,
Yeah, I mean that. I'll tell you what. So that's all the matches for the whole show.
you figure, you're going to go 45 with each chamber, probably
Yeah,
Rhea, and then the tag. I mean, they'll probably announce something just to fill in time. Maybe Cody
no,
on
no. I mean, I,
the Grayson Waller
I'm,
effect, maybe because he's Australian or
dude.
whatever.
I don't. I, I don't know. I don't know. But the where I was going was is it's such a oh my god, like it's a full card even with those matches and the names as you're going down them. It's like the talent pool that they're working with at a main event level where they can put together a show with four matches and it's like it looks like a great show. Like it looks like something like you said about like whipping out your wallet. I mean, it looks like something you want to watch on paper.
Right. And
The
I
women's
have,
chamber is interesting to me.
I think Becky would probably go over because they had the press conference where she faced off with Rhea. So
Yeah, I mean,
maybe have that go on first. Becky wins, and then she kind of squares off with Rhea after the.
can I run something by you real quick though?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that there might like if I had to predict a little bit of a swerve on this, I'm and maybe this is just my heart talking, but I think you might see Liv go over and Liv fucking take the belt off of fucking Rhea.
I don't know. I mean,
I could
I'm,
see it.
it could happen. Um, so the matches that they've already kind
I
of
want to
announced
see it.
for Mania is Roman versus Cody,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Io versus Bailey,
Mm-hmm.
and then the two chamber versus Rhea and Seth. So you still probably have another 10 matches that you're going to have at Mania. So you'll have like the Lashleys, the Randys, the Shinsuke's, LA Knight will go over somehow. But there's a long story to give out in the next 5 weeks or whatever it is to build Mania. That's the other problem I have now is WrestleMania 3, you had a 2-year build, and now you're you're doing it in 5 weeks. But I guess that's the nature of the business.
It has become the nature of the business. But if you do you really feel like the Roman thing is like a 5 week build? Like because
No,
I
no,
mean
that
I get that bringing the Rock in is like a 5 week build, but like that feels like that's been a 2 year build. Sure, like to me,
yeah. But I'm just saying for a majority of the card,
yeah.
you,
Yeah.
I mean that you have a build. You kind of have
No, you're right. You're
less.
right. You're right. I hear what you're saying. Since you have so much of the card open for a 2 night show based on the
Yeah,
matches. Yeah, yeah, I hear what you're saying. There's still a lot to build in there.
and you probably would have got Brock and Gunther, but Brock is involved in the lawsuit.
Well,
So that
I'm guessing you're gonna get KO and Logan Paul.
probably they probably eliminate each other, have some kind of gimmick match.
Yeah.
Uh, you have Jey Uso probably be in something because
I would
he's
like
getting
to
a.
see Kevin Owens and Logan Paul in a Hell in a Cell.
It's possible. It's very possible. And you know what? It kind of makes sense because they're going to be in the chamber. So that
Yeah.
would be the next spot for that. So you might have
I mean,
booked that.
do they still do Hell in a Cell matches at WrestleMania though?
They did Shane and Taker when I went in Dallas.
Yeah.
Remember that? Shane jumped off the top onto
Shane
nobody.
jumped off the top. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember.
So I mean, they can do whatever they want. So
Fair
and
enough.
then you have Post Malone going into the video game, so maybe he gets some kind of celebrity gimmick match like Bad Bunny or Johnny Knoxville. So you have like a
Oh
lot
my
of different
God.
ways. That abomination last year. But it was funny, you know.
It was hilarious. It was hilarious. Oh my God, Johnny Knoxville and fucking Party Boy.
Wild stuff you thought you'd never see.
Oh my God.
So there's
All
a
right.
lot. There's a lot to look forward to with that.
Yeah.
And we're all going to be sitting here. We'll do the chamber next week, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna figure that out, because I don't know if we should do like an early morning thing where we're coming on like right after the show ends, kind of thing, and just
Well, we
muscle
would have
that
to
out.
watch it. We would
Well,
have to
and
watch it first.
I intend on watching it. I just don't know if I want to do it in the morning. That's why I'm trying to figure that out. But we're gonna have a
Yeah.
conversation about that.
Okay. So in other wrestling related news, I guess we'll stick kind of WWE here. Former wrestler, he was in WrestleMania 3, Billy Jack Haynes, killed his wife in a kind of SWAT situation in Portland this week. There was a SWAT situation. Once they got out, got into the house, somebody had called, they heard gunshots. And once they examined the house, got in there, he kind of barricaded himself in. They found his wife was deceased.
Damn, that's fucking brutal.
Yeah, and he's kind of been a weird kind of dude for like the last 10 years. He's done shoot interviews saying, you know, Vince was trying to hire a hitman to kill him and all kind of weird stuff. So mental health issue for sure.
Yeah,
just sad.
Yeah, it is. That's a fucking sad story, man.
Yeah. And the other hot topic that we have in the news is TNA wrestling just came back and they just fired Scott D'Amore. He was rumored to have put in an offer to buy TNA from Anthem. He was upset that he wanted more money for a budget so that they could sign Braun Strowman. When he was a free agent, they declined. So he tried to buy it. They fired him.
Huh.
And he's kind of been the only thing that's kept TNA going for the last 5 to 6 years. The heart and soul of it.
So then what's their intentions, you think?
Something's going on, because you'd think that they would want a depreciating asset to be sold, get their money and get out.
Yeah.
But the TNA locker room just wrote a note to whoever they have running it now, saying they want D'Amore back. He's the heart and soul. And now they have a booking committee led by Tommy Dreamer and Gail Kim and a couple other people.
Nice. That's kind of cool, at least.
Yeah. So maybe there's going to be another promotion starting up here with maybe D'Amore making a purchase. Or,
you know, there's something that I've been thinking about, like bigger picture, when it comes to ownership of athletic organizations recently. And you see people like JJ Watt going out and buying, you know, British soccer clubs. And the shit with, you know, what the reality show that Rob McElhenney and Ryan Reynolds, you know, with their soccer club, and just some of the things that are going on with basketball, and you know, ownership groups that are composed of players, or players that are outright, you know, former athletes that have invested properly or done what they needed to do to come back and then be owners. And I think that it's really fucking healthy for organizations that are athletically inclined, which wrestling is, to be have people that have done it at positions of power or at the ownership level, or right there. And I think it's an interesting trend. So hopefully, one of these organizations, some of these people that actually manage their money. I mean, right now I think you're seeing it with forget it. Anyway, I hope they keep doing shit like that. And former wrestlers should become bookers. It shouldn't be and they shouldn't be doing it when they're 80 years old. God damn it. That's kind of fucking
I mean, you could see maybe Scott D'Amore going and buying NWA from Billy Corgan or something like that.
That would be kind of neat. That would be kind of neat, actually, to have a structure already there and like a name. Like,
but then you're also buying someone else's debt, so maybe it's even better to just start over.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, that seems tough, but I mean, that's what these people do, right? Like, if their goal isn't to create something where people like them can fucking thrive, then it won't ever be created.
So yeah, I mean, I just hope that experiences and companies get people in places where they can thrive.
Exactly. Absolutely. Here. Purr.
So next week we'll figure out what to do about the Elimination Chamber.
Mm-hmm.
We have a pretty good sports topic for a couple weeks from now.
Mm-hmm.
And tonight, there's only one thing I got to say.
Oh, let's hear it.
I came here to do two things: kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Kick that ass. Kick that ass. They Live. Great movie. Check it out.
Yeah. Top Guys out.